The Cook Shack there, a Texas-based restaurant. Look at those ribs. You can get the ribs in different spice levels. Different kinds of chicken on the menu as well. Chicken and waffles, very classic combination. And they're doing it right. Different spice levels inspired by Nashville hot chicken. Get chicken sandwiches, chicken salads, and they have one on the menu, the AMF chicken tender. This thing is spicy. It is crazy. The mac and cheese is delicious, y'all. It's made with smoked Gouda cheese. It is so good. You guys got to go try it out. That's the combination. Half rack of ribs with the chicken tenders. The Cook Shack in Selma. I mean, outstanding. Go grab a margarita, go grab a beer, bring the family, enjoy yourself. It is really, really good. What's up, foodie crew? The fried jerk chicken and mac and cheese dish is back at the Jerk Shack. That's us, Chef Nicola Black and myself, 5 years ago, showing you guys this amazing food at their original location. Now it's here at their new location. Yes, the mac and cheese is absolutely incredible. This right here, the fried jerk chicken covered in their sticky sweet sauce. This is the dirty chicken, and it is so good. That right there is Chef Nicola Black of the Jerk Shack, a James Beard Award nominee. Congratulations to all the nominees here for 2023. The sweet potatoes, the greens, the ribs, everything on the menu out there is just phenomenal. That's the ribs right there, y'all. The Rasta pasta with the shrimp, the oxtails, and the egg rolls are exceptional. So much fun, so much creativity. There's a reason why she was nominated as one of the best chefs in Texas. I mean, just look at all this. I tell you what, go out there, enjoy yourself. Address on the screen, the Jerk Shack, an amazing spot to try some Caribbean-inspired food. And look at that, the oxtails. I'm not playing, y'all. That's the one to get. Y'all need to go try this fried jerk chicken and mac and cheese.
Good morning, San Antonio. Expect more of the same with the temperatures today, just a slight few degrees cooler, but we're still watching that chance for some rain as we get closer to the weekend. Throughout the day today, expect your peak temperature to be about 86 degrees, those mostly clear skies in the afternoon. And this is ahead of that chance of rain. Now, what we're watching is a low pressure system that is still making landfall today off the coast of California. That is expected to make its way closer to the Four Corners and even the Rockies by Thursday and even Friday morning. Now, it is also going to really access and really deepen some of that moisture from the Pacific that it's bringing over, but it's also going to mix with that Gulf moisture with that cool front moving through Friday night. Now, most of us will be dry most of the day Friday, maybe about a 20% chance of just a few showers, but the most of the rain chances really arrive Friday night. About 9:30 is when portions just to the west can start to see a few showers make their way closer, and then already by 2 a.m. most of the rain should be over San Antonio and moving out by about 8 or 9 a.m. Saturday morning. However, what we're watching is a chance for redevelopment.
From KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
Well, new this noon, approval of a wastewater treatment facility over the Helotes Creek watershed. The state greenlighting the project to go forward this morning. Now, the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality approving the permit for a wastewater treatment facility in Northwest Bexar County that would be part of the Guajolote Ranch development. Our Sarah Costa attended that meeting and joins us live now from Austin. And Sarah, didn't look like this decision took a long time to make.
No, it didn't, Steph. That hearing was very quick. In over about 30 minutes, you heard from attorneys on both sides and even from State Rep Mark DeRazio, who represents this area of District 122 in Northwest Bexar County. He urged the TCEQ commissioners not to approve this permit. The TCEQ, however, deciding with the developer. That developer is Lennar Homes. They are based out of Florida. They have proposed Guajolote Ranch, a development that would bring 3,000 homes on 1,100 acres just north of Gray Forest. Opponents' biggest concern, a wastewater treatment plant that would be required to go along with it, which would process, clean, and treat sewage, then dump it into Helotes Creek. That creek feeds into the Trinity and Edwards aquifers, which are part of the drinking water supply for nearly 2.5 million people, which includes San Antonio. And the permit for this wastewater treatment facility is what was approved today by the TCEQ. More than 50 people who live in the area of where this development will go filled the room with protest signs to show the TCEQ how many people are invested into fighting this project. And the message from them was clear. They will continue to fight this.
This cannot stand. And this is not over. This is not over.
The people living along Scenic Loop say the next step is they will appeal. That process can take another 3 to 4 months. They told me they aren't just going to fight this through TCEQ's appeals process, but will also take Lennar to civil court and will also fight this at the county level. Remember, Lennar has filed for a PID. That is a public improvement district. It's the way for the residents who live along the development to pay for the wastewater treatment facility, and the county has the power to say yes or no. So we spoke with so many opponents who came up today, from UTSA students to homeowners who live along Helotes Creek, whose families have lived on that property for generations. Hear their story and hear why they say it's important that they continue to fight this. Live from Austin, I'm Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News. Stephanie?
All right, Sarah, thank you. Well, today a Bexar County judge agreed to some terms for James Cotter. Now, he is a longtime business partner of Brad Simpson. Cotter was formally charged in December of 2024 in connection with the case of the missing Almost Park mother, Suzanne Clark Simpson. Now, she disappeared on October 6, 2024. He is facing charges of tampering with evidence with the intent to impair an investigation and possession of prohibited weapons. Today, Cotter got the state's approval to have a GPS monitor removed. In court, the judge said that Cotter could not obtain a passport. All other aspects of his bond remain the same. Now, as for Brad Simpson, his trial date is tentatively scheduled to start next year on February 13th. A pre-trial is set for January 2026. Let's look out there with live cam this afternoon, warming up a little bit, 77 degrees, not too bad yet, but you can kind of see the clouds are going away, Shelby.
Yeah, Steph, and that's what we've been watching, is the chance of that cloud coverage to really start to burn up as the sun really starts to target that cloud coverage. And our temperatures are already warming up. We're already sitting in the 70s, but it's still feeling a little dry. And the good news is, as that cloud coverage really continues to disperse, we're really going to start to see our temperatures really warm up, but also the dew point temperatures are also going to really start to get a little dry. In fact, we're already having our dew point temperatures sitting between 43 up in Canyon Lake to 58 and even 59 as you go down south towards areas of Uvalde. And that just shows you that this afternoon is expected to be a dry afternoon. But even then, we're also tracking some more humidity as we head throughout the weekend, also brought by rain chances. But this afternoon, expect peak temperatures to be about the mid to upper 80s for most of us. Mostly clear skies persist until tonight, when we start to see a little bit of that cloud coverage return. But an area of high pressure is currently sitting in areas of South Texas and even Mexico. But what we're watching for the chance for our weather maker this weekend is the low off of the coast of California. That is going to give us the chance of some rain as we go into the weekend, and even from really Friday night into Saturday. I'll talk about what all that entails with the low pressure system, the rain chances, and the risks and impacts we're watching coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Shelby. Well, 3 former police officers on trial will be back in court later this afternoon. Yesterday, the jury looked at crime scene photos and a picture of the weapons used in the 2023 shooting death of Melissa Bettis. We are now more than a week into the trial of those police officers, Alfred Flores, Eleazar Alejandro, and Nathaniel Villalobos. Jurors saw pictures of the shell casings, the hammer that Pettis swung at the officers, and of the apartment complex where the incident happened back in June of 2023. Pettis was experiencing a mental health episode at the time. Now, the jury has to decide whether the officers followed protocol. If they convict them, all 3 face up to life in prison. You can watch it live and all of our digital platforms, and of course on KSAT.com. More restaurant closures in San Antonio. So Taco Cabana has quietly closed many of its San Antonio locations. The chain is no longer operating at least 7 stores, and most of which were located on the city's north side. So a company spokesperson said the closures were a strategic decision that supports the company's plans for the future, which includes expansion. So we have a list of the closed locations on our website, KSAT.com. KSAT Community is also stepping up to help raise funds for Meals on Wheels to help those that are at risk of losing those meal deliveries on October 27th, so happening tomorrow. Join us for a KSAT Community phone bank. The phone bank will start during GMSA at 5 a.m. and it'll go until 7 p.m. tomorrow night, so your call can make a difference. It is a chance to help seniors in our community get the food that they need. This is an opportunity to step up for our community together. Well, funerals are often one of life's biggest and last expenses, so planning ahead can be uncomfortable, but it can save money and help ease the burden on your loved ones. Our Daphne Gray has practical advice on how to navigate the process and what to watch out for.
For nearly half a century, Dolores Evans thought her passing would not be a burden for her family. Decades ago, she bought a prepaid funeral plan.
I got that when I was young, thinking I was prepared.
But there was a big problem. Dolores recently found out that she was caught in a scam. She got this letter saying that her prepaid funeral contract is worthless and denied by the funeral home. FBI says that the company behind it stole nearly $500 million from families across 16 states. Well, the fraudsters went to prison more than a decade ago. Dolores recovered just a few $100s and must start over. Today, there are better consumer protections. The Federal Trade Commission now enforces what's known as the funeral rule. The rule makes it possible for consumers to be aware of costs.
Now you have more options than ever before to plan your funeral on any budget.
There are several ways to cover funeral costs. One is a payable on death bank account. Money you set aside for funeral costs can be transferred to someone you trust when you die. Another is final expense insurance, which can pay $5,000 to $25,000. But watch out, premiums may cost more than the benefit, and some policies have a timeline, meaning you must pay for years before it covers the funeral in full. Visit a few local funeral homes and ask about prices and packages. You can select what you want, like a visitation service and care of the body. When you call or visit a funeral home, it must provide a general price list covering goods and services such as embalming and the use of a hearse.
Funeral homes often sell caskets and vaults, but you can shop around. It might sound a little creepy, but you might find a better deal at Costco, Walmart, or even Amazon.
The cost of cremation can range from about $2,000 to more than $6,000. And once your plan is final, be sure to tell your loved ones. Daphne Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Well, other costs to be aware of: cemetery plots can cost $2,000 and up, and headstones can cost another $1,000 to $3,000. And while writing your own obituary may feel uncomfortable, leaving a list of names you want mentioned ensures that no one is left out. Well, during the pandemic, grocery shopping changed for many families, and for many, it was the start of curbside pickup. But is the extra cost worth it? Well, we're checking in with one San Antonio family.
President Trump is demanding a $230 million settlement related to previous investigations. I'm Christiane Cordero in Washington with details on that story coming up.
Well, President Donald Trump is seeking $230 million as a settlement for the prior special counsel investigations against him. As ABC's Christiane Cordero explains, right now he's trying to get approval for the payout from the Department of Justice.
Today, the Trump administration faces new ethical and potentially legal pushback as the president seeks nearly $250 million settlement, which, if approved, would be covered by taxpayer funds. President Trump is pushing his own Justice Department to sign off on the settlement, which stems from how the previous DOJ investigated him for allegations of Russian meddling in the 2016 election and the mishandling of classified documents in 2022. Trump claims those investigations violated his privacy and were prosecuted maliciously, filing 2 claims against the DOJ in 2023 and 2024. The current DOJ attorneys in charge of approving such settlement were once on his personal legal team, Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy AG Todd Blanche. Both stood next to the president last week as he referenced his grievances against the prior investigations and how to handle it.
They raided my house in Florida. It was an illegal raid. I have a lawsuit that was doing very well, and when I became president, I said, I'm sort of suing myself. I don't know. How do you settle the lawsuit?
When asked whether the president's demands to his former attorneys are a conflict of interest, the DOJ said it would follow the guidance of career ethics officials and declined to comment further. The president suggests he would donate the settlement money he alone is demanding. It would be entirely from taxpayers.
Do you ever have one of those cases where you have to decide how much you're paying yourself in damages? But I was damaged very greatly, and any money that I would get, I would give to charity.
The White House hasn't specified what causes the president would potentially donate to if the settlement was approved. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Out there with live cam this afternoon. Looks pretty quiet now, but it might be a kind of a noisy Friday night, Shelby.
As of now, Steph, that's the plan. We're tracking a few things, and noisy? Well, not only is it Friday and there's always some sort of high school football events, but we're also tracking some rain, which is very much needed. Take a look at the statistic. We have had 45 days in San Antonio since we saw more than just a few hundredths of an inch of rain. That dates back to the beginning of September. And we are tracking some rain chances, specifically Friday night. We did bump up rain totals and rain chances to 70% chance of rain Friday night into Saturday. I'll break down what that entails and give you a future cast coming up after the break. There's a few things you need to know. We're tracking a chance of rain as we go from Friday and even into Saturday morning. Now, with that, there are still some risks. This is going to be much needed rain for us in San Antonio. Now, we're talking about maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain. A few areas could see an isolated 3 inches or more, but even then, that's going to be a very few people who win the rain lottery. But this amount of rain in such a small amount of time can produce some heavy rainfall and even a chance of some street flooding. Now, this is going to be possible as we go into Saturday morning. Specifically, right around 10 p.m. is the earliest we could see some chances of rain, and it's all because of this area of low pressure system off the coast of California that I mentioned earlier. It was allowing to be able to dig into some of that Pacific moisture, and as it moves over, especially near the Four Corners and the Rockies today and even tomorrow, it could produce some extra rain and even some heavier rainfall chances for San Angelo, up near the Metroplex, and even getting up to Oklahoma City. But what we're watching is as that cool front associated with this low pressure system bringing the heavier chances of rain moves closer to San Antonio, specifically Friday night. Most of your football games Friday night should still be okay. But what we're watching is Friday night even into Saturday morning could produce that chance for some heavier rainfall, especially right here where you see it about 2 a.m. Saturday morning. I'm not expecting it to be as heavy as some areas, especially down towards Cotulla. Most of us can still see that chance of some heavier rainfall. So it is still going to be a little bit more widespread and not as necessarily exact as it says near Cotulla. But what we're watching is that initial band of some heavy rainfall moves through, should be gone by around sunrise. Some folks just to the east and near the coastal plain still have that chance to see a few showers possible. Now, there is still another chance of redevelopment throughout the middle portion of the day and even in the Saturday evening hours. That's another thing we're watching just for the timing and track of all of it. Now, Saturday night into Sunday morning, we get that second chance of some showers being possible. I'm not expecting it to be as strong as what we're seeing Friday night into Saturday morning, but even then, once again, another chance of Saturday night. Now, the good news is if you're watching football or if you're staying indoors, most of this shouldn't really impact you, but any areas that are going to be saturated from Friday into Saturday could still see some issues as we go from Saturday night into Sunday. But good news. All of this is gone already by Sunday morning. So if you're going out to church Sunday morning, there might still be some puddles, some wet grass, but you might not have to worry about any heavy downpours. Now, the rainfall totals. Everyone wants to know how much this is going to impact us because we're still in that drought. Well, some areas, like I mentioned earlier, have that chance to see 1 to 2 inches of rain. But in San Antonio, maybe about 2 inches being possible. Some areas have that chance to get an isolated 3. Other areas might only get up to an inch, which is why we want you to check back with us. We'll continue to keep you posted because not everyone is going to have that chance for some heavy rainfall totals, which is going to also impact our drought. But with the heavy rainfalls, there is still that chance of flooding, like I mentioned, because about 3 inches of rain in such a short amount of time can have that chance for some street flooding and even that flash flooding. We have that marginal and that slight risk for some flash flooding being possible Friday into Saturday morning. About Saturday morning, about sunrise is what we're watching for that chance. And we'll continue to keep you posted on the very latest as we get closer to, but a 70% chance of rain from Friday night into Saturday morning as that initial band moves through, and more chances of rain next week on Tuesday with an approaching cold front. Steph.
Thank you, Shelby. Can't wait for that cold front. Well, what began as a pandemic necessity has now become a weekly routine for many families. We are talking about curbside pickup. And there is a slight price difference for some items when you shop curbside than when you go in store. We talked to one family who breaks it down for us. Well, what started as a helpful way to shop during the pandemic has now become the norm for many families. We're talking about curbside pickup and home delivery. And however, do you actually know how much you are paying for that cost of that curbside convenience? Well, I caught up with a family who tracked that price difference.
Climb in and buckle in.
Good job. That one was stuck.
It's another trip to the grocery store, which can be a fun car ride for Carla Skate's son.
Hi.
Carla?
I love Lucky Time.
But once they are there, it just takes minutes for their groceries to get loaded in the car.
You guys having a day okay?
How often do you think you probably use curbside?
So we use it weekly. Every week I sit down, typically on a Saturday night, and do our grocery list, load it up, and then pick it up Sunday.
Have you kind of seen there's a little bit of a price difference between, picking up curbside as opposed to going in and getting in the store?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know with curbside, there's a little bit of a markup to use the curbside service, and that's reflected in each individual grocery item. But when we go in store, especially when we take our child with us, it is typically a lot less expensive using curbside because we're not susceptible to those impulse buys.
The price difference or markup on the total grocery list can depend on what Carla and Jorge are buying that week.
And you can see the estimated total, $141. That the cost here is $139.79.
Carla and Jorge could have saved $1.35 if they went inside the store to purchase groceries. Now looking at the individual items, some are the same cost inside the store as they are at curbside.
These are all the curbside prices here.
But the difference could be in cents, like this 24-count of string cheese. It's $7.34 curbside, and it's $6.99 in store.
For us, it's worth it to save the money, save the time, and have the convenience instead of, spending hours at the grocery store.
Stephanie Cerna, KSAT 12 News. And the grocery store apps aren't just for these curbside and delivery orders. You can also find coupons, and this goes for most major chains. On H-E-B's app, you can find coupons in the savings section. Then all you have to do is click on the yellow button under any offer to add it to your list, and you can use these in store as well. $1 million investment leading to more opportunities for local students. Why Palo Alto College says they needed to boost their welding program. Well, now to an update this noon, police say a man is in custody after a deadly shooting outside a San Antonio bar. So San Antonio police charged Ramiro Espinosa Jr. with murder. Arrest paperwork says that police identified the suspect after speaking to 2 eyewitnesses and seeing surveillance video. Police accuse Espinosa of shooting Julio Cesar Martinez Padron on Sunday night near Old Highway 90 and Cesar Chavez. So this was after an argument inside a nearby bar. The victim died in a local hospital the next day. Well, 16 families have been waiting to hear one word: guilty. So this is a major update to an investigation that our Courtney Friedman began in February of 2024. Those families say over the past few years, they bought cemetery headstones for their loved ones. Angelic Monuments owner Elena Moreno took around $50,000 from them, but never delivered the headstones. This KSAT investigation and the victim's persistence led to Moreno's arrest last year. And our Courtney shows us where the case stands now.
Josh Giano was kind, funny, and creative.
My stepson been in his life since he was 8 years old. He was 20 when he passed, and just flipped our lives upside down.
Angela Diano wanted a custom headstone for Josh, so she went to a company called Angelic Monuments.
Oh, here it is. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful with the microphone.
Yep.
So this is the sketch that she made.
Yes.
Herself.
Right.
Okay. And you really thought she was going to get this too?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The owner, Elena Moreno, did headstone sketches like this for 16 families who eventually went to police, saying Moreno took their money and disappeared.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, Elena. This is Courtney Friedman with KSAT 12 News. Just giving you a call again.
As part of KSAT's investigation last year, we found out one family paid more than $8,000 for their headstone. The total listed in the reports is over $50,000. A reminder Moreno got from Judge Stephanie Boyd on October 14th.
You're charged with theft of property, $30,000 to $150,000. That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes.
That day, Diano sat in the back of the courtroom alongside other victims to hear these very words.
How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty. You're one of the main people who said this is wrong.
Right.
And now you just were in the room where you heard her say guilty.
Right.
What did that feel like for you?
It was a little bit of relief, a little bit of satisfaction that she finally was saying to the judge, I'm guilty. A little bit of closure that some of us need. I know that we need that.
Moreno has until her sentencing on December 9th to pay each victim back in full.
The cashier's check will need to be made out to those complainants individually.
Diano said that would be wonderful, but there's a bigger picture here.
There's just another huge side of it where it's not even about the money. It's just taking from us emotionally as much as she did, that, you know, to see some justice on that.
Well, I'm really glad that this is a chapter that you can close now.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long time for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Looking out there with live cam this afternoon. It's still okay to go outside and have lunch. No rainfall, or it's not 100 degrees either, so we'll take this.
I know, Steph, I was just outside eating lunch and maybe about an hour ago, and it was so gorgeous. Yes, there was a slight breeze, and it might be a little chilly if you're wearing, let's say, an off-the-shoulder dress, but it is absolutely gorgeous outside. Most of our temperatures sitting in the 70s right now in San Antonio. 78 degrees reported at the airport, and throughout the next few hours, we are expecting our temperatures similar to what we've been seeing to increase to the mid to 80s. Still seeing some drier conditions persist. 85 to 86 degrees is expected to be our peak temperature today for San Antonio. Other areas might be sitting either a few degrees on either side. But what we're all watching and really waiting for is, yes, still some drier conditions will persist today and tomorrow, but the rain chances as we go throughout this weekend, specifically Friday night through Saturday, it's all because of a weak cool front moving through. Now, if you're just to the north of San Antonio and portions of the hill country, by about 10 p.m., you should start to see, at least in the far western counties, a few showers starting to arrive. By about midnight to 2 a.m. is that time frame we're looking in San Antonio to see the rain. And then by about 2 a.m. to even 4 or 5 a.m. really, depending on how fast this cool front moves through and how the rain chances really expand or push through. That's kind of the timing and the track we're watching for the showers and storms to really move through. As you can tell by the timing of all of these different times as it moves through, it's going to be overnight. So you might not want to get a car wash just yet, especially because Friday night into Saturday, these storms could produce some heavy downpours at times, even some stronger winds. I'll give you a futurecast of what you need to know and break all your impacts and your risks down coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Shelby. Well, it is now early voting time for the November election, and this year voters won't just find the two Bexar County propositions that, if passed, will provide funds for Frost Bank Center and a much hoped for downtown arena. There's also 17 constitutional amendments. Among those amendments, Proposition 11 is one of a handful of propositions that tackle property taxes. Specifically, Prop 11 would let lawmakers raise a homestead exemption, which would limit how much of a home's value can be taxed to pay for public schools. This is for elderly or disabled homeowners to $60,000. Right now, that exemption is $10,000. The state will fill that funding gap to cover whatever public school revenue schools lose if this proposition passes. Another issue the Texas legislature has been trying to address in the last couple of sessions is property tax relief. This past one is no exception, with a number of propositions to lower what Texans pay. Proposition 13 would increase the residents' homestead exemption from ad valorem taxation by $40,000. So what that means is that up to $140,000 in value cannot be taxed to pay for public schools. We have more information on the amendment propositions along with our other election coverage, sample ballots, information on when and where you can vote at ksat.com/vote. Again, early voting will run through Halloween, October 31st, and Election Day is November 4th. Well, happening today, October is Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, and the San Antonio Police Department and Metro Health are teaming up for a special community event to take a stand against domestic violence. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., you can drop by any of the substations listed on your screen to meet police officers and Metro Health crisis advocates to learn about the resources and the support available for survivors and families dealing with domestic violence. Comal ISD is hosting its annual College Career and Military Fair. This is happening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Davenport High School. It will become about 70 recruiters from colleges, businesses, trade schools, and also military branches. And this morning, Metro Health offered a free flu vaccine clinic at the Wheatley Heights Sports Complex. It's going to continue to run until 2 p.m. this afternoon, and it's open to everyone with no appointment needed. This is while supplies last. So whether you're a parent looking to protect your little ones or you just want to keep yourself safe, children 6 months and older can get vaccinated. Well, there's a new welding lab at Palo Alto College, and students are taking advantage here. So it's all thanks to a $1 million investment in the school's welding program. So it expanded Palo Alto's welding lab from 26 to 46 booths, and the work began last year and finished up just before the fall semester started. There is a growing need for welders, and the school says that the investment was necessary to get their students hands-on training.
Right now, the oil field and the car industry, technology is driving everything, and we need to stay ahead of it. You can make a great living as a welding supervisor, as a welder.
Well, Palo Alto College's welding program isn't done expanding just yet. A brand new building is in the works on the southeast side at Brooks. It should open sometime within the next 3 years.
Large-scale Russian attacks on Ukraine, including on a school, happening overnight, just hours after a meeting between President Trump and Vladimir Putin fell through. I'm Rena Roy, and I'll have the latest coming up.
Well, overnight, Russia launching a heavy air attack against Ukraine, killing at least 6 people in the capital city of Kyiv. Russia also striking a kindergarten class in Kharkiv. As ABC's Rena Roy reports, the attack came just hours after President Donald Trump's plan to meet with Vladimir Putin fell apart.
Rescuers carrying children out of this destroyed kindergarten in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv after Russia launched a large-scale attack overnight. Video circulating online shows a projectile fly across the sky, slamming into the site. First responders working at the scene, Ukrainian authorities saying at least 4 people were sent to the hospital. Thankfully, most of the 50 children inside were not hurt as they hid in the shelter. The capital city of Kyiv also hit with drones and ballistic missiles. President Volodymyr Zelensky saying Russia's actions prove Putin doesn't, quote, feel enough pressure for dragging out the war. The attacks came just hours after President Trump's proposal to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin fell through. Trump had announced a potential second face-to-face meeting with Putin in the coming weeks, optimistic they could finally negotiate an end to the war. But now Trump conceding that summit is not going to happen anytime soon after Russia made clear they had no intention of making a deal. The Kremlin saying you can't postpone what was not scheduled. Trump saying this yesterday.
I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a wasted time, so I'll see what happens.
Zelensky asked Trump for long-range Tomahawk missiles to use against Russia, but on Monday said the Trump administration decided not to provide them. Trump has also not imposed more sanctions against Russia, which he has been threatening for months. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Taking a look outside with live cam, it's a warm day already, sitting at about 78 degrees for San Antonio. Going to be a gorgeous day for most of us across South Texas. Before we get to this weekend, we're tracking a few things, and it could get a little messy for some folks. And the reason why is because we're seeing rain, and it's going to be much needed rain along with a low pressure system and a weak cool front, not necessarily bringing some cold temperatures, but most of us seeing rain Friday night into Saturday morning, even having a chance for some localized flooding. I'll give you a futurecast and break this down of what you need to expect not only today, but also for this weekend coming up after the break.
We're excited about any kind of change, but first, rain, right?
Yes, I know everyone wants the change, the fall temperatures. I mean, we're sitting a little springy today because it's Wednesday, so you have to wear it.
Of course.
But a lot of people want to see the fall temperatures, and we will, but before that, that's going to be next weekend. But the reason we're seeing those fall temperatures is normally because of a cold front, and we have a cold front arriving this weekend, bringing us rain chances, which I know a lot of people want. But before then, Steph, we sadly have to get through another day in the 80s.
Gotcha.
Not much of a difference for the weather pattern. 85 degrees expected today to be our peak temperature. Still seeing those mostly clear skies. And then after that, we're still going to see that humidity slowly increase, not only today, but also tomorrow, and as we get closer to the weekend. And as the humidity increases, that is going to then lead us into the next chance of rain. Specifically what we're watching, like I've been talking about all day and even teasing earlier in this newscast, is the rain. Some could get it starting Friday evening, but really Friday night into Saturday morning is what we're watching for the best time for some rainfall to really fall in areas of South Texas. Even a 70% chance of rain starting about 10 p.m. Friday night to even there 8 a.m. Saturday morning. So here's kind of what we're watching with the rain chances. It's all because of that low pressure system still making its way onshore today. It's not even onshore, it's just off the coast of California. But later today, it is expected to make landfall in areas of California and move across areas of Nevada, getting to the Four Corners throughout the next few hours. But what we're watching is Friday. This will have a cool front associated with it, bringing some folks across the country some colder temperatures, yes, but not necessarily for us. Traditionally, when you have cold fronts, there's at least a few showers or even some thunderstorms on the leading edge of the cold front. And that will give us a chance of rain, just not necessarily the cold temperatures behind it. So as this cold front and this low pressure system make its way closer to San Antonio, by about Friday night, being about 9 to 10 is the earliest we could see some showers and storms, mostly going to be just to the west of us in areas of the Hill Country, Junction, Rock Springs, even getting portions to Del Rio. That's where we're going to start to see the rain. And then it's going to migrate closer to San Antonio overnight. And that's why we want to stress, if you don't have to, most of us will be sleeping anyway, but if you don't have to go anywhere, don't, because this rain will produce some heavy rainfall and even some heavy rainfall rates. And with it being dark, it could produce some areas of some low-lying water crossings to even produce some street flooding, and that could be dangerous, especially at night on poorly lit roads, especially because the rain continues to push through as we go through sunrise. Most of the area will start to see some rain just to the east near LaGrange, even up to Round Rock and down towards Victoria about 9 a.m. That continues to push off, but there's going to be so much extra moisture and just so much instability in the atmosphere that we could see another chance for redevelopment later on in the afternoon into the evening hours on Saturday. especially just to the north of San Antonio, but really anywhere across south central Texas, we could see some redevelopment for most of us. And that will move through by about midnight Saturday night or early Sunday morning. Most of the showers will continue to push through areas of South Texas, giving us a nice little breath of fresh air. But there are still some things you need to know. So like I've been mentioning, the rain chances are Friday night into early Saturday. 1 to 2 inches is possible of some rain, maybe an isolated 3-inch total. Could have some street flooding being possible, and there are going to be some loud, heavy showers as we go into Saturday morning. Otherwise, drying out Sunday, Monday with another cold front, the third in just about a week on Tuesday into Wednesday and stuff that could potentially give us at least a few degrees of the fall temperatures everyone wants.
Yes, very exciting. We can't wait. Thank you, Shelby. Well, this time of year, retirees often take vacations. In this noon, a doctor's 4 tips to keep seniors safe and healthy as they check off their travel bucket list. Well, it's called shoulder season, a term that refers to the time between peak and off-peak travel times. Many retirees who aren't restricted by work or a child's school schedule can find fewer crowds, milder weather, and lower prices to many popular destinations. However, an expert says seniors need to plan for travel differently than they did in their younger years. CNN's Mandy Gaither has ways seniors can stay safe and healthy while traveling.
No more cubicles or long hours spent at work. Now you get to do what you enjoy. But if your retirement plans include travel, planning before you pack is key.
As we get older, traveling can be a little bit more challenging because we have certain, chronic medical conditions.
Dr. Colleen Reedy with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says the first thing to think about in retirement travel is medication. It should be packed in carry-on luggage along with a list of medicines you take and the conditions you have just in case you have to receive medical care away from home. Second, Reedy says to protect yourself from flu, COVID-19 and RSV during respiratory virus season through vaccination.
Maybe consider wearing a mask on the plane if you know you don't want to kind of get even just a cold can kind of put a damper on travel plans.
Third, Reedy says to protect your legs and feet. Compression socks can help, especially during long car rides or when you're taking a long flight. She says to also pack comfortable shoes that are non-slip and supportive. If you're traveling for more than 4 hours, make sure to stretch legs and move your body.
If you're still for that long, that can put you at an increased risk of like a blood clot.
And finally, work downtime into your plans.
If you push yourself too hard, then you're not going to be able to enjoy it as much as you had hoped.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.